Dear Agent of the Universe, wow, acceptance and non-attachment really are such liberating drugs, but so hard to access. Over time, I've really started to wonder if the development of the human brain above and beyond the brainstem has been a good thing or not. We should play in our mental sandbox with that one. One would say it has allowed for great strides in things such as technology and healthcare. But it has also led humans down the rabbit hole of depression, fear, stress, and total confusion. The thinking brain, strongly influenced by external forces, keeps us participating in the never-ending game show of second-guessing and questioning ourselves and others. If we look at the state of humanity as a collective today, have all those strides really been worth it? If it has left humanity adrift, lost, angry, segregated, and grasping for happiness and meaning in their own lives? We can fly to the moon, but we can't deal with a virus. We can genetically modify food, but we can't feed humans. We fly, float, and see in the dark, but we can't overcome stress. We can build drones, create the internet, but we can't eradicate mental illness, depression, and fear. Left alone without awareness, observation, and control, the mind so quickly descends into a jungle of myriad thoughts and emotions, rather than elevates to a peak of one thought, focus, and light. I know this because I've had to be so careful not to allow my mind to dive into chaos when it comes to you. It would be so easy to get lost in you, which, given how unique, intriguing, and beautiful you are, is very understandable. To allow my emotions to attach like a leech to all the things you can provide me, rather than just enjoying who you are, without the fear that one day you will transform into Houdini and just disappear. You so strongly emanate security, safety, loyalty, strength, and grounding among a host of other boxes we tick off when looking for a companion. The traits any sane girl seeks in a companion, because we are always seeking something in someone else to fill our own holes. Traits like security and strength that are quite easy to get attached to in someone else and surrender in oneself. A laziness in the self, to seek that in others rather than in oneself, creating a very unhealthy dependency. I know, because I've been there. Do you know the mental strength it takes to seek and find all those traits in you, in myself? To remove fear of rejection, fear of ends, fear that when the other moves on, you will be left with a pile of emotions that are all very sordid? More strength than to pick up an elephant, twirl it around like a baton, throw it up in the air, twirl it, and then catch it. I know, because that is what it is like being with you. Being with you has made me work on me. Not the elephant thing, of course. I would have to be genetically modified for that. But to enjoy you for just you. Not for what you can provide me, because really, I can provide for myself, emotionally, physically, and mentally. To walk that fine line between non-attachment and non-caring. To balance between loving and dependency. To be able to give and receive without expectations. So hard that some days I think it is so much easier to be alone in a cave than out in the jungle of human interaction. We enjoy experiences, food, dancing, sports, friends, and yet, why don't we enjoy a companion in the same way without there having to be an end goal or a permanence to it? Why don't we enjoy the company and and the love of another for as long as that relationship remains beautiful, without it having to go somewhere? Why do we only get on a path if it is going somewhere, rather than just wander the path, enjoy the views, and let it surprise us? If there is an end, we become obsessed with the end, like we are about death, rather than with the journey, life. Whenever I find myself sliding into the valley of attachment with you, wondering where this is all going, I go to my mat. It is my spaceship, my time capsule and the root of my power. It is where I breathe, connect to my body, to my mind, to my soul, and I meditate. Every time I walk off my mat, I feel high, complete, fearless, and filled with love and energy. It is the power of yoga and the power of asanas when practiced correctly. It is why I want to explain to you the power of asanas. Remember, asanas are poses. the physical part of yoga, which I see as the trunk of the tree that is yoga. Asana literally means a seat, and no, not a couch, but to sit in a meditative pose. To prepare one's body to sit in stillness required for meditation, in conjunction with breath, focus, and the use of bandhas, which are the locking of limbs to direct energy in a certain direction. The physical practice of yoga aims to remove sluggishness and laziness from the body, to energetically open it by removing blockages, to bring your body and its energy back into alignment with the cosmic, and to create the strength and flexibility to meditate, without your body constantly pulling your attention and energy to it, as it screams, "Get me out of this sitting pose." At its basis level, asana practice starts to bring our body back into alignment, as if you were straightening out a rolled up twisted hosepipe, allowing the water, in this case energy, to flow uninhibited through you, with the use of breath to push that energy through you in a calm, rhythmic manner, rather than sporadically. With each full, deep inhale, you stimulate your good sympathetic energy creative nervous system. And with each complete exhale, long and slow, you ignite the calming parasympathetic nervous system, thereby bringing your nervous system into balance. So many of our bodies are twisted and out of alignment these days from sitting in front of computers, mobile screens, steering wheels, and TVs. When we are physically out of whack and are stressed in our yoga practice and in our life, we increase the tension in our muscles, which leads to chronic contractions and spasms due to a lack of oxygen, blood supply, and a corresponding increase in lactic acid in our muscles. The latter is the chemical which runs to the brain telling it that you are stressed, which then increases the tension in our muscles even more, resulting in muscular pain and strains. It is why in yoga we always ask you to visualize sending all the oxygen you are inhaling to the area you are stretching or strengthening. It is why I also ask you to breathe through your practice, to inhale as you lift yourself, giving your muscle and joints the oxygen fuel to lift you, and exhale when you move downwards to relax your muscles into a stretch, or when strengthening to remove all the carbon dioxide and stress from the muscle. Muscular contractions, like how our shoulders are always trying to hug our ears or touch our chest, are massive energy suckers as they reduce blood flow. Muscular contractions increase inflammation and reduce the intake of nutrients into our muscles. It is why sitting hunched over for hours is so detrimental to our health, because as our body contracts, our breath becomes erratic, which then reduces the flow of oxygen and blood, thus sending our mind into a tailspin and affecting the release of hormones and neurotransmitters in our body, such as serotonin, cortisol, endorphins, and dopamine, all of which serve to compromise our immune system, our emotional, mental, and physical health, and most importantly, our sanity. It is why we so often begin our asana practice with sun salutations that are guided and coordinated with our breath. So you are never moving without breath, because of course at some point you would pass out if you did that. Each salutation moves our muscles and joints, increases the flow of blood and oxygen throughout our body, feeding parts of our body, such as our spinal discs and joints, where there's no direct blood flow, and only through movement and osmosis are they fed. For us to truly connect to the infinite space that surrounds us through meditation, all aspects of our being, energy, mind, body, and soul, intellect should be in unison. The body is the starting point, the base. Therefore, when we are in an asana, a pose, it should feel firm but comfortable. There should be no tightness, tension, or discomfort. Instead, one should be able to comfortably stay in a pose for a length of time. There is a good chance that if this is not happening, it is because your ego is performing the pose. Yet there should always be a sense of freedom within a pose to move, to adjust, within the following boundaries. The skeleton, especially the spine, should be locked and aligned, and the joints locked into a place. There should be no grinding or pain. You should avoid sitting directly on the earth, as the earth is a conductor of energy. And unless all 9 of our energy losing holes are closed and our bandhas locked, we will lose energy to the earth. Those 9 holes are our ears, nose, mouth, eyes, anus, and vagina penis area. It is why asanas are practiced in a clean space, devoid of any stimulus that may draw our senses outwards. So cows, goats, beer, music, swimming pools are a no-no. Such practices should be called something other than yoga. In addition, you should practice in a place that is neither hot or cold. The aim is to minimize sensations that draw your mind and hence your energy. The spine should always be straight, even when we are bending from the waist, unless we are intentionally seeking to work the back muscles. When the spine is straight and elongated, the central and peripheral nervous system, which sprouts from it, is neutral, meaning they are not being squeezed or stimulated to send a message to a body part that then draws our attention away from our breath, but instead allows for the smooth flow of energy, known as prana, through them. If the body is twisted in a way it should not be, then the flow of energy is disrupted. In fact, the body must be in a complete state of relaxation for the free movement of energy, which is why practices such as yin, restorative yoga, and hatha energize us and allow for healing. Yoga is not an exercise, because we should find stillness in asanas to the point where we slowly lose consciousness of our body and begin to feel light and freed from our body. Our mind eventually learns to focus on the infinite, but as a start, we focus our mind on our breath, to slow our breath down so it moves smoothly through us, to keep it constant and balanced. Each of these steps serves to calm our mind. In a pose, as we move to a state of singular focus, the smooth flow of energy and breath, the detachment from our body, and the calming of our mind, we become free of the polarities of opposites that enslave us: hot, cold, hunger, thirst, joy, grief. The polarity of emotions that I spoke of in my earlier letters when I was just discovering you. Put another way, the body encases our nerves, through which energy travels. Our energy is an expression of our mind, and our mind is that which practices meditation. When our mind is all over the place, our energy flow is sporadic and disjointed, and we feel out of sorts. When we achieve harmony in a posture between mind, body, and breath, our metabolic process slows down and is calmed, thereby lessening hunger and thirst and other desires, all which act as agitators of our energy. At a cellular level, our cells begin to dance, as there are no threats to which it must call its attention. Instead, they have time to construct, heal, reproduce. So rather than depleting our energy, they create energy. At the same time, through rhythmic inhalation and exhalation, our emotions are calmed, blockages of energy broken down. It is why we feel so darn good after yoga. It is also why your world starts to change, because you begin to vibrate and resonate at a higher frequency. Practice correctly. What you are really doing is beginning to bring your whole system back into balance, and at the same time rising the vibration of all your cells, your organs, your energy, allowing your being to feel light, strong, free, and yes, basically high, literally. It is only in this state you are able to connect to the information in the infinite universe through meditation. Have you ever noticed how the prayer ritual in Islam mimics a sun salutation? I will explain in my next letter why and when to practice one form of yoga over the other, and how it is important to engage in all practices and not get attached to just one. I am genuinely excited to see you soon. I'm yearning for an adventure, and my adventures have always been a country or an animal. However, in this case, it's going to be a human. You truly are proving to be an unknown in my life. Love, the enchanted yogi.